Hello and welcome back to the Culture Creators podcast. Today I have the pleasure of talking with Joe Brennan.
Yes,
welcome to
hello.
the podcast.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me at your home. So you are the MD of Eire Total Access, which is a scaffolding company.
Yes.
Let's start by placing you. If you want to tell us a bit about Eire and how long you've been the MD, when you started it.
Yeah, so Eire initially started up in October 2012. I guess from the get-go then, culture was always a big thing for me, big driving thing, always thinking we can have a better workplace culture, but not sure if we done a great job of that for the first 6 years. It was just the perspective changed as the journey went on. The biggest thing in the industry here is drinking alcohol and cartons of piss, so we were experts at buying drink for, I guess, clients and also for the employees. Every week we'd be putting on beers for the first 6 years, and I guess following then the change in 2018, 2019 for myself by starting to jump in the ocean every morning and really look at my own life and how that can be better and how I can be the better version of a human being. Then it really made me look at the actions I was taking as the MD at Eire and really question the actions of what I was doing. I guess we back then in 2018, 2019, I remember a lot of incidents like car crashes, people putting the wrong fuel in cars, all these sort of within the business, But then you're getting angry with the individual for doing these things.
Yeah.
But when you peel back the onion a little bit, the ownership was really on me as the MD, because it probably all started really on Friday, where the individual will buy drinks for the individual, we buy alcohol for the guys. They don't go home when they should go home, so they're fighting with their partner. They've got a very uncomfortable weekend or weekend starting out Monday or Tuesday because of the disagreements at home. But that's not on them, that was really on us for being the creators of that weekend and providing the alcohol and so taking, I guess, extreme ownership on our actions to begin with. So then as the journey went on, I guess I started to pull back from sort of the alcohol events pull back from the alcohol events and start doing sort of more fun stuff like bringing the team down the ocean and and participating in the events as well, surrounded by alcohol. And so notice then a reduce of, like, we'd wrong fuel putting cars regularly and all these things, but it would all happen after a big weekend, maybe a toolbox talk for the month with the barbecue. So and I'm probably jumping a little bit advanced as well. So as we were saying, how did I become the MD? I guess from a young age I've been messing around with scaffold since 5 or 6 years of age, and started off properly then at the age of 15, 16. When even at that young age of 17, I noticed alcohol was a massive problem within the industry, and a lot of.
This is back in Ireland.
Back in Ireland, a lot of people with no money for lunch on a Wednesday or Thursday because of gambling and alcohol, and that was something that I never really resonated with me. Couldn't never sort of cope with that. So I guess working the way up, when we originally set up Eire in 2012, my intention was still to be on the tools and work my way through on the tools and just have somebody in the office dealing with the admin side of stuff. But as problems arise, I got sucked in, and then before long you're full time in the office. And I guess it's been, 11 years now sitting in the office, sitting in that chair as MD, and a lot of that comes down to problem solving. So for me, my reflection on life now is all about prevention. Everything I can do. So how do I prevent somebody putting the wrong fuel in the car maybe next week, or crashing the car, or haunting the back, or haunting the knee? It's like implement positive things, so in 12 months time or 6 months time we're not dealing with insurance claims and everything else.
So seeing things into the future.
Into the future, yeah. Yeah, where when the light bulb went off, when I could see what we were doing by providing alcohol, arranging big piss ups, and then watching the weeks to follow the things that would go wrong, but then us falling out, we're taking things personally, we're falling out with the individual who does the wrong thing, but they weren't in that alone. They were being fed by, I guess, their bosses and led down a road of this is how it is.
Am I right in understanding you had a partner
yes.
for a period of time?
Yeah.
So that must have been quite a challenge for you having a business partner. Was this idea of changing the culture something that you both did, or was that just
No,
you?
it was purely me. There was 2 partners. There was 3 partners altogether.
Yeah.
So still got 1 partner today. The 3rd partner he resigned in 2019, I believe, and then died within a year and a half later with lung cancer. A big thing was, it was something I decided alone, so it was quite awkward. I became, I guess, what I felt, whether that was just my emotion or not, I felt like I became public enemy within the office with all of the guys. You know, I'm gone from providing the beers and drinking 7 days a week to, I don't want to join you today at 3 o'clock when it's beer o'clock, you know, and there was this sort of walking on eggshells around because I was going through the change myself. However, the drinking has reduced massively now within the company. I'm surrounded by a lot of people who believe me, who believe and trust in the journey, and which then, rather than the previous 6 years, what was happening was disconnection.
Yes.
I guess work is a big disconnection as it is. So
how do you mean by work is a big disconnection?
Well, I guess the father being away for 40 hours or 60 hours a week, that's its own disconnection as that. And then coming home tired, and then can they interact with the family or whatever, you know. So my big drive now going forward is to get people connected. So the last two years we've had a normal Christmas party. We'd probably go to Northbridge or go somewhere like that, and we just put a few thousand behind the bar and everyone get pissed. And then it's home from there or back to a house and party on. And so if there wasn't a big enough disconnection that week with working the 40 or 60 hours, then add the alcohol on the full weekend, even a bigger disconnection, and bringing that close to Christmas.
Continuing that connection.
It put a lot of stress on people right before Christmas as well, because it's the Christmas party and it has to be the biggest piss up. So the last 2 years, what we've done, we went to Adventure World, and we brought the partners and kids so the families can connect. So it's like, yes, right, we've spent 50 weeks this year working where we're being disconnected. Let's have a little bit of time off the back of the company and try and connect, try and bring people together. And I'm noticing that more and more now with individuals and with people within the Eire circles now, you know. So I guess stuff comes downhill. So when we're sort of walking that path where we want to be connected to our partners, having good relationships, we're noticing more of them behaviours throughout the organisation.
It is really interesting what you brought up, this whole idea of how work is disconnecting even at the best of times. I mean, I think most of us will recognise a point in life where you've had to leave your everyday personal Brennan back at home and then turn up as work Brennan or something, and you know, so you're disconnecting with yourself, let alone having to disconnect with partners. And I guess when you've got guys going away and having to work on site for several days away, you have to go through this process of I've got to shut down this, and then when you go home you can't just switch it back on, you know, it's reconnect, and those defences have got to come down, but it becomes more difficult over time. It's really interesting. Because
I guess that's the habits you create, isn't it? And it's like monkey see, monkey do, you know, when you are surrounded by 8 or 10 people you've been working with and they're all going to the pub, it's very likely you're going to go to the pub and join them, even if that's not what you want to do, you know. So then you're battling with yourself, you're battling with your own emotions, most likely you're battling with your partner because you've told her you're not going to do that. Her or him, whether it's boy or girl, I guess, you know.
Well, I suppose the connections that you've got, because we all like to connect. The connections you've got then are the connections with the team. And if the team's going to the pub, you're going with the connections.
You go to the pub, So I spent Friday night in Kalgoorlie there. I have no problem now. I don't battle with the drink. I've made the clear decision that it's not for me. I live a much better life now because of it. But I sat in the pub till 10 o'clock on Friday night, but I'm comfortable now being around drunk people. I'm definitely not a preacher. I don't push it on people and say you shouldn't be doing that. I'm happy to still buy people, individuals there now, probably at this stage, if they want a couple of drinks and stuff, but I definitely don't organise like work piss-ups and we used to have monthly barbecues and everybody would come to the yard and we would get cartons and cartons of piss and that was what we believed to be a good culture then.
Yeah.
And we thrived ourselves on a big culture. However, my perspective has changed since 2019 and I realised the disconnection, I realised the problems, the risk people are in by not being focused.
Yeah.
So my intention going forward is to have the individuals as focused as they can be, as connected to the loved ones. Because I guess it's true saying happy wife, happy life, you know. And when people are happy, productivity goes up. You know, when people are stressed, productivity goes down. So it's nobody's a winner. So it's trying to keep everybody calm, happy, connected, and wearing the shirt proudly, you know, is what the big thrive is. Still learning away, still learning every day new things. This year we've been, I guess in 2022, we probably got a little bit aggressive in the culture space. We probably gave people too much choice. We started to put on...
What do you mean by too much choice?
Well, we've doing our activities. What we do now is we do the ocean dips. We do body weight movement. We do...
So you're getting people in nature, getting people moving.
Yes, we do the ice baths regularly. And
you've got an ice bath in the warehouse, haven't you?
Yes, in the warehouse.
They're in their body.
Yeah, and then we bring somebody in to do deep tissue work, like a massage, body work every fortnight. So with all this availability, numbers start reducing. So when I returned from the holiday just there in January, everybody had stopped attending the Monday and Tuesday movement classes. Right. But straight away, as soon as we done that, because now it went from doing one ocean dip a month, some sorts, just bringing the team together, we were having massive numbers. But now when it was available 4 or 5 days a week, there's stuff to do, nobody was turning up to anything. So our intention and our intention for 2023 is less more. So we're going to do less, and we're just going to focus on the one dip per month and one movement class per week rather than 3 movement classes per week. From doing that and kicking it in already, we're noticing an increase in numbers. Because there's not, I guess it's easy for someone to say they're not going to come Tuesday, they'll just come Friday. And then Friday, I'm not going to come Friday, I'll just come Tuesday. And then when it's like the January dip, when there's regular dips, because we were doing dips after the movement as well, when there's regular dips as well, it's easy for people to do that agreement with themselves and say, nah, I won't come today, I'll come to the next one, it's only a few days away. So we'll navigate this space now and see how we travel through this year. But already off a first dip, we had massive numbers, you know, somewhere close to 50 people, I think, might have turned up at the beach from the organisation. So
I suppose it's interesting when, you know, if you're turning a culture around, and I'll ask you a bit more about that process of turning it around in a minute. But when you're starting to, I suppose at the start, there's always going to have to be, like using your words, an aggressive focus on something to get it going and to demonstrate you're serious. This is not changing, and this is the direction of where we're going. But then I suppose there's that interesting bit of where's the balance between everybody doing it because the MD's doing it, and then where's the balance of I'm doing this because it's good for me, and then it gets its own momentum that comes after that.
Yeah, and that's still what I'm searching for, because there was definitely a drop in numbers when I left to go away.
Yeah, because you went away for a couple of months on honeymoon, didn't you? Yeah,
but then we could see the mornings that was working, the mornings that's not working organically. I guess, and we support them, and we drop the others. You know, which we dropped the Monday, we dropped the Tuesday, and we're just sticking to the Friday, because organically that's what the team was showing up for themselves, which I guess is that balance. Because you definitely won't want anything forced. You want to be just have it flowing.
Have it flowing and see what emerges.
Yes.
Just going back to that time, and when was it, 2018, 19? You know, so you've got a whole culture that's got like disconnected, working hard, and then drinking hard as well. And I take it that's the wider scaffolding culture
Yes, correct.
Anyway,
that I'm aware of, yeah.
that you're aware of.
Yeah.
And then you've also got that in your own company.
Yeah.
And you've also got that in your business partner.
Yeah.
Talk us through the process of, like, because there must have been a point where you went, right, I've got to be brave here, I've got to go in and say, this is not how this is happening, and then moving on from that bit, because that's really the tipping point of going from here to here, isn't it?
I think it all began, I briefly sort of planted the seed and asked the partners and some of the people in the office would they be interested in joining me for the morning dip some morning before work, and I'm like, because I was
the
looking,
dip is just coming down to the beach,
some hugs, jump in the ocean, quick splash around,
have a laugh,
grab a coffee, and everybody head out to work,
and then go to work.
And I was like, why would we not do this? We probably wouldn't do this because we'd upset the client, because maybe we're a half an hour late for work or we're an hour late for work, and so I wasn't getting much bite anywhere in the office, and nobody was really interested. So in the end, the partners and stuff had said they'd have a meeting on it, and I was like, yeah, okay, we'll have a meeting on it. But I knew if we had that meeting, it would have been shut down. So I decided I would get my personal assistant to do up an invite and email it to everybody in the company. Yeah. So we done up the invite, sent it out.
The invite was to come to the beach.
Was to come to the beach on this particular day, this particular time. Yeah. And I was like, we'll just send out a notification to the clients and we'll tell them we're going to be so much late. We're going to be late, because it was never an issue.
The clients being the place where the guys
they're going to go, for the builders. And we'll just tell them we're late on that particular day, because there's never an issue taking the hour off the opposite end of the day for barbecues and beers, and that happens so regularly in business. That happens so regularly on building sites. So I was like, well, I'm just going to take the hour off the opposite end of the day and bring productivity into the day, rather than, so I'm not really doing anything out of the ordinary. I'm just changing it around where I take the hour. However, there was quite a lot of intense conversations over that. It wasn't appreciated that I had not followed through and had the meeting, that I'd actually just give the direction and sent out the invites and told everybody to come. Yeah. And my answer then to the team was, if anybody's not happy with it, they can send out another email and call back the invitations, Yeah. So that was a pretty intense day, pretty hard day, but I'm very grateful for, I guess, following my intuition, doing what I felt was right, because now it results in, I've had, I don't know, it's within the hundreds of ocean dips I've now done with scaffolders and people in the scaffolding community, Yeah. And the bigger goal would be not only to connect Eire and bring Eire together, but bring together the other scaffold companies as well, and all start working together as, I guess, one sort of network, one family. And there's so much work out there within Western Australia. People can be working together to help each other out, and What sort of impact has this now had on the wider industry and other, I suppose, competitors, but also? Yeah, I see some. Well, for us, lucky enough, this all started through COVID, when the borders, because it was in around then, the beginning of 2019, we started getting going. That was a time when every conversation I had with every business owner, they were saying that they couldn't get any employees. Nobody could get anyone. The borders are closed. You couldn't bring anyone from the East Coast. We went from 42 employees to upwards of 150 through COVID. So I guess energy being magnetic, positive energy is attracting other positive people. So we've pulled a lot of people from all of our competitors around the state of Western Australia.
Yes.
Plus we also got aggressive in the trainee space, because my big thing now is to train up, and maybe in 5 years' time, majority of the Eire workforce will be trainees who come through Eire school in Woodland.
I've not worked in the scaffolding industry, but I imagine that transition from being like 16, 17, 18, which is a difficult time anyway, of navigating, leaving school, going into the world of work, and then being met with like this quite hard scaffolding culture can be quite brutal and traumatic.
Yes, definitely, and for me, when I was 16, 17, a lot of poison in it as well, you know, a lot of so much negativity, and I see that now as being a result of somebody just having a bad hangover and how they treat you and how they talk to you, you know, and I don't want young trainees to have to go through that same thing. So they do have to do intense things with us, I guess, you know. For day one, for the trainees when they're starting, Henry brings them down to the ocean and me and him jump in the water with them. So I'm there for every trainee sign up along with Henry, and then we had last week 3 trainees start. So day one, they're down at Sorrento Beach, we have to dip in the ocean, have a bit of breakfast with them. They get to interact with me because they probably, I guess, so busy and caught up in everything else. Then after the first day, I probably don't get to interact with them that much, but I guess they get to know who I am, which is important, because I want to know each and every person in the organisation as best I can, you know. Day 3, them trainees were in the ice bath, so screaming and shouting, trying to jump out, but I jumped in first to show them it's possible. I jumped in with one of the trainees and just to be that anchor for them, and they're already then improving their belief, you know, and building their confidence from day one. And for us, it's not smashing their confidence down, it's building their confidence, getting them to believe in themselves.
And I imagine, like you said, you went from 40 to 120,
150.
150. What's retention like now in terms of?
Retention has been really good, you know. When I was in Kalgoorlie on Friday, like, what my story is and gossip I've heard of Kalgoorlie is just a massive town for piss up and everybody's getting on it, and generally that'll be any of the areas I've heard where there's the mine sites, many mine sites. But I think we've got 6 or 8 people up there now who have gym memberships. So every day when they finish shift, they get a minibus straight across to the aquatic centre and they go for swimming and into the gym. And they were really, the feedback we got, that was just on Friday, they really love working at Eire, they're loving the culture and they want to be a part of it for life, you know. They love the direction it's going. But for me, that was quite rewarding to see them particular individuals heading towards the gym and doing what we believe in and where their vision sits today, you know.
So you've put a drink behind you to 2.5, 3 years now, isn't it? As you look back, because like it would be easy for someone to listen to this conversation who's not in scaffolding or not in heavy industry and just go, oh yeah, well, you know, drinks over there, and or like, you know, for one of the work benefit, you know, the big hairy ass scaffolders who like work hard, drinking hard, and all of that. But if I reflect back on my time working on places like the Terrace and consultancies and stuff like that, it's the same. Friday night, it's beers night, and you're right. There's always an hour spare at the end of the day to go to a drinks do or something of that nature. So, you know, the impact of alcohol is widespread across the working world. It doesn't matter what industry it's in. But as you look back now, why do you think it is that people end up? I mean, I know there's that everybody else is going to the pub, so there's that peer pressure thing. But why else do you think internally people are going and, you know, having a whole stack of beers at the end of a week before they go home?
Yeah, like I guess the condition, the habits, isn't it? I don't know how long it takes to create a habit, and you know, is it 21 days or 60 days or whatever it is to create a habit? When as a trainee or an apprenticeship, when you start to create them habits, it's very hard to break them. And if you're so busy always in the rabbit hole, you're not actually zooming out to actually have a look at your life. It's just rinse and repeat, isn't it? It's walk to 60, it's now Friday.
It's what everyone's
and
doing.
It's what everybody's doing, it's where I'm going. And even if it's just, then the habit, once the habit's created, it's possible to be just even sitting there doing it on your own, you know? And the last few years for me, I've just been questioning, you know, Simon Sinek's book, like Start With Why. It's like, so I'm asking myself why so regularly. Why do I do this? Why do I eat that? Why do I drink this? Why do I go there? And then by asking that question why, it's like you find probably a really obvious answer, which makes you stop and take a different pathway then, you know. But I probably think it's because they're so busy with the working week that they don't actually have time to question their own existence, their own reality. Maybe that's the reason. Yeah.
I think certainly if I reflect back when I used to drink and on Friday nights and stuff like that, there was a whole lot of release as well.
Yeah.
And it's interesting what you were saying about work is a disconnecting thing.
Yeah.
And that will have its impact, as will the demands of the job and working anyway. There is that just I can have a few beers and then I can
just burying it. It's not actually facing and not dealing it, isn't it?
No, you're right.
Yeah, or like that. The analogy with the buffalo running towards the snowstorm, or the storm, and the cow running away from it, and the alcohol really is the cow running away from the issues what they need to deal with, isn't it?
Very true.
Yeah, and with the liver, I guess, holding on to all the anger, emotion. Then once you filter through, like generally it starts off laughing, joking, but probably 90% of nights end in tears. With alcohol as well, so you're hitting them emotion, you're hitting that bit of anger, and that can be even, I guess, childhood trauma. It can be going back that far, but
everyone's bringing something to work, aren't they?
Yeah. And I guess work, being busy, you're covering up that stuff, sitting with yourself either. Yeah.
And that anger bit's interesting as well, because I think if we were all super honest, right, or the easiest way to flesh the answer to this question out, if we're all honest, not everybody would want to be doing what they're doing.
Definitely
right.
Not.
And the easiest way to flush this out is if you won the lottery and won 10 million, would you be doing this job tomorrow? And most people say no.
Yes.
So therein lies.
Yes.
And so there is like a gap between what you would naturally be inclined to do and what you're actually doing to make ends meet. And in between the two will be this tension that will be a load of anger.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, and I think
stuff underneath it.
I think that's definitely majority of the world, probably where they sit, what they do,
Yeah.
And I hear so many people say they work at Eire because of the culture, and they're not in it because of the money. But I know if like the payroll is 2 hours late or something, they're screaming at the payroll girl, "Where's my money?" And it's like, "Oh, I thought you were in it this for the culture." And yes, they're working there for. It's one of the pluses why they're there. But ultimately, people are up out of bed and then going to work to get the money to pay the bills. But if they can work somewhere with a little bit more of a positive vibe, a little bit of a happier place, then that's where they'll go to earn their money. But they're not going there without the money.
I think I like that. I think there's something brutally, truthfully honest in that, isn't there? Whereby it's like, look, if all things were equal and money was no object, maybe I would be, I don't know, owning a coffee shop, or I would be an artist, or I'd do this or I'd do that. But that's not the case. So I do have to come to work, and let's just be honest about that. But if we are going to be at work and my chosen thing is scaffolding, then I would rather be here because it's got
these things
going on, which are very life affirming. Not this simmering resentment, anger, boost fuel culture.
And I guess respect and a good teammates to work with as well. Comes in, but it's been funny throughout that year whether energy was just attracting people to us, because I had so many strange interactions with individuals and who wanted to come across and join the team through all of that,
How do you, so obviously in this discussion, taking booze out of the culture and actually shining a light on its impact, how has that been received when you talk to other business leaders and stuff like that, and people go, "Hey, what is it you're doing?" Because all of a sudden these people want to come here and this, that and the other. And then when you sort of point to, well, one of the major things we did, and you were straight into it in this conversation, was, well, we stripped out booze.
How
does that get received?
It's not still not taken lightly. People don't believe in it. I think people believe so much where our mindset was for the first 6 years that booze is the way forward. It does create, you know, the good culture. It is like, there's nothing like a good beer with a mate, you know, and I think, so not received greatly. However, I do speak to a lot of directors, a lot of business owners on my journeys, and a lot of them, I always get positive comments and they love what I'm doing. I think it's just fair stopping the other business owners taking action, because it is a big change. I feel like that. So I feel like the want is there and the fear is blocking, and people can see, they know, you know, the numbers stack up for us, the people are coming across, you know.
And I presume, I haven't asked you this question, but I presume it's then translated not only into retention, but then into financial performance of the organisation.
Yeah, well, it was the first, when we started this, actually, I never seen scaffolds getting built as fast.
Right.
So like what we were sort of estimating it would take to build the scaffolds, everything started coming in under hours rather than over hours.
Right.
Previous 6 years, it's like you're scratching your head thinking, how could it possibly take a team that long to build that?
Yeah.
You know, and now it's like, hold on, we've a bit of a change, a bit of a shift in energy.
Right.
And scaffolds coming in under budget.
So now you got some margin.
Yes, yeah.
Nice.
Which was like, it was happy and laughing, joking, bit of all that going on. So it doesn't look like there's a lot happening, but come the end of the day, the job is finished. Yeah.
There it is.
There it is, yeah.
There it is.
And I remember one particular job, we had a strong team in there on St. George's Terrace, and we were thinking it would take 4 days or whatever, but we went in on a Saturday morning and we had to finish by 2:30 on the Saturday, and at the end of the day I'm just like, wow, because we're pricing, I was present for the whole time, which I think just my energy, just sort of keeping the people, I'm grafting away, so they're grafting away as well.
Yeah.
But I think it was more the laughter, the fun, the happiness of the team that made it happen. There was nothing that got in the way. A lot of things can go wrong in an 8-hour shift, and I guess we based that job on previous jobs, so that was normal. Then we'd gone to that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You said you brought your energy. What's that?
Yeah, I guess just me, my presence, my solutions. Yeah, and it just really being there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not really like I don't know. I seem to bring, when I'm there, I guess I can encourage the team and they believe in themselves. It goes a lot faster. I find I can lift up a room when I'm around individuals, you know.
Yeah.
If any sort of negativity creeps in, I'll shut it down really quick. If something goes wrong, it's like, good, let's fix it. Yeah. Don't like dwell on it. Let's not complain about the wrong thing for 2 hours. Let's just fix it and move on.
Yes.
So I guess a bit of that, being present within there. Yeah.
I really like this. You're providing some really, I guess because of the nature of scaffolding, you can provide some real tangible examples of how, like that, you quote for 4 days and yet you've had it done in several hours.
Yeah.
And how changing the culture then translates into work getting done at a better quality and quicker and things like that.
Yeah.
And the journey through to getting it complete.
Yeah, because if having the right team and having everybody working together and looking after each other goes a long way, you know, because it's mornings like that when they leave the yard in the truck, they don't get stuck at all the red lights on the way in, you know, they don't get a puncture, they don't, you know, they're all the things that you're allowing for previous, and that's how it ends up taking 4 days when it should just really take a day, you know.
Yeah.
But I guess not dwelling on the things as soon as problems arise, just addressing them, leaning in, not being afraid of them, you know. We'd outsourced a semi-load of scaffold to go up north recently. The job was so far behind schedule before we even got engaged. The truck on its way up to that job flipped over, the scaffold goes everywhere. You know, it's like, do we sit around whinging about that for a week, or you just get back to it, you get the scaffold back onto the truck or onto the next truck and get it to the job and continue on and get it done, you know. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess it's no excuse, it's just results, you know, all the time. Yeah. Stuff will go wrong, but
and I guess if you're present and less impaired from the impact of not necessarily drinking on that day, but it being present, it's easier to be present in the issues and see your way through to a solution.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, you're more focused. Yeah,
Superb. One of the last questions I've been asking all the people on the podcast with this is, what would you say is the one thing about culture that we're not talking about that we should generally?
Oh, that's the one thing. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe families is a big part of culture. The loved ones at home as well, and I guess there is a lot of family assistance programs out there and stuff. But maybe trying to have the families understand the business, what the individual's doing, and not forgetting about them, I guess. Yeah. And I know there is a bit of focus on that out there. We're in bigger organisations, but because I guess that is the culture reflects, isn't it? It's, everybody needs to understand the goal, the cultural goal, become a part of it where they can as well. The family, the kids, and And
I guess that then lessens this disconnect that you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to point to like FIFO workers or people who work away for a period of time and then come back, and that's like a super clinical disconnect from the family to go somewhere else, work, be, sleep, eat, all the things. But even working 9 to 5, so many organisational cultures don't want you to wipe your feet on the way in through the door of any other drama that might be going on in your life. And then we form this compartmentalisation, which is not good for us internally. And because as much as we'd like to disconnect the two, they're all connected. And I've met many a chief operating officer or a CEO who has confided to me, my family are just not getting the best out of me at home because it's all being sucked in here. And yet, is there the space to talk about that?
And like, I guess even if people are aware of people's families, issues that's going on, or positive stuff that's going on, it doesn't always have to be on the negatives either.
No, you're right.
And then
it doesn't have to be so-and-so's ill.
Just being able to chat about that sort of openly with teammates and colleagues, and for us, I guess it's a nice transition out of talking about scaffolding or talking about rope access, and actually switching it to somebody's personal life and their family and what's going on over there. And I guess because then you can look out for your mate if there's something going wrong at home. Just for a check-in, if they getting angry with people on that particular day, then it's probably not to do with what's actually happening at work, it's to do with what's happening on a deeper level. And the deeper level being at home, whereas why they're doing everything in the beginning, it's to feed the family, isn't it?
And I suppose that, like you said, it's not just about the bad things. Is if something's really great has happened, like your son's won a sports carnival or something like that, you can continue that celebration and buzz into your days at work and not feel like, okay, well, I celebrated.
I need to stop smiling now.
I need to stop smiling now because I'm serious, I'm at work. It's like, no, you continue that buzz of pride of how your kids are doing, or your wife's doing, or your husband's doing, or your partner, that buzz continues into work. I like that. I like that a lot.
I think we do sort of have a lot of cultural talks around there, but maybe the one for the family, because it's all connected, isn't it?
It is. It is. We like to think that we come into these spaces and we're not still connected to other places, but it's we are all the time.
It's
like it's all very well saying, oh, you know, I have my time in my body when I go to the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that might be a hyper-focused time, but you're in your body all day, every day. And, you know, you are this person who's in all these spaces. It's been a really good conversation, Joe. I think it will be challenging for some to listen to this.
Yeah.
Because we've gone straight to one of the sacred, you know, the modern Western sacred cows of drinking and its impact. And I know a lot of people would rather it be something else that we talked about. You know, Joe had this inspiration to do this one thing that was all nice with the. You know, but no, it's actually you've gone to some of the core bits of what are some of the things that can be impairing the quality of your life, let alone then the culture and then the workplace and stuff like that.
And even this many years on, I had quite an intense conversation with the managers, you know, and they were like, well, the guys on site want drinks, they want to have a piss up somewhere, they don't want to go. Originally we were going to go to the land of Bullsbrook and do an event up there, but with non-alcohol free event, and then it would have been then we decided we'd go to Adventure World, but it was quite intense, and again I just had to stand in my own sovereignty and say no, it's not for me. We sort of brought numbers back down in 2019. We went from around 40, and I was like, I'm bringing it back, it's too much, we don't need to be doing so much. We bring the company back to 10 people. We started to create a really good culture, change everything, have a really positive vibes, which then started to take off, which has got us to where we are now. And my answer then was, it's because of my sovereignty, doing things like the jumping in the ocean with the Human Excellence Project, the non-alcohol, the Adventure World parties, is the reason why we are where we are today, and 150 strong. I'm not going to change that for somebody that's not been on my journey. And that's why I sit in this seat as director, to call these shots and bring us on the road. I think is best for us all, you know.
And I guess for all the strong retention, there'll be those that come and then go.
Yes.
And that's okay too.
And people will always come and go, isn't it? Because people constantly think the grass is greener elsewhere, you know. And I guess it's what you make of your environment. Equally, yes, you can come into a positive environment, but you can come in with a negative mindset and bring that down as well. So yeah, it's important to try, I guess, being the best version of yourself, to uplift your own circles. Joe,
thank you very much.
Thank you, man.